This is Celebration TV. Revealing Jesus, releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV. Revealing Jesus, releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2018.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.
It's the last day of the month of September. Welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. I am Belly Squatter and thanks for joining us today. Now the news making the rounds. Reps seek funding for multi-billion naira library from public and private sector. France visa out hits Algeria, Morocco and Tunisia. All 39 trapped Canadian miners rescued after 3 days. Nigerians without the NIN won't get passports and driving license, says the NCC. And on sports, Ronaldo scores in 95th minute as Manchester United beat Villarreal. Stay with us as the details of this news comes after the short timeout. Welcome back, and now the news in details. Reps seek funding for multi-billion naira library from public and private sector. The House of Representatives has called for public and private support for the proposed multi-billion naira National Assembly Library project, which will be likened to the Library of Congress in the United States. The National Assembly has proposed 2 billion naira in the 2020 budget for construction of the National Assembly Library to be domiciled with the National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies. And the Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila, said the project's primary aim was to deepen the legislative competence of lawmakers and strengthen research on policy formulation for the whole country by extension. The Speaker described the ambitions as enormous, which require the sacrifice of time, resources, collaboration amongst stakeholders, and partnerships with those who share the vision of what they hope to achieve. And earlier in his opening address, the committee's chairman, Jonathan Gbefui, recalled that after the inauguration of the committees 2 years ago, and the members decided to take a more methodical approach by embarking on an extensive research and widened consultations of how not to just provide a library structure, but put in place measures and policies that will sustain and maintain it even when they are long gone, a legacy for the future generations to come. The lawmaker explained that the board will function as a federal governing board existing for the sole purpose to acquiring funds and grants generously donated by the National Assembly Legislative Library Research and Resource Center by the National Assembly and interested parties, supporters such as the well-meaning individuals, the public and private sector, as well as international donor organizations and countries. Now moving forward, Kano increases scholarship benefits by 50%. The Kano government has reviewed and increased the state's student scholarship allowance by 50%. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje announced the gesture at the pre-61st Independence Anniversary Lecture held at the Coronation Hall Government House in Kano yesterday. Ganduje, who was represented at the occasion by the Commissioner of Information, Malam Muhammad Garba, said payment of the new scholarship allowance will commence soon. And he said that the decision review the scholarship was in line with the government's policy on free and compulsory education introduced by the government. And Ganduje, who charged students to make the best use of the opportunity so as to pursue their educational career. And commenting on the ongoing voters' registrations, the governor urged those eligible amongst them to go and obtain their voters' card before the expiration of the deadline. And he said there was need for eligible students and also other people in the state to register in view of the fact that Kano had been left behind in the online voter registration. And he stressed the need for people to be alive to responsibilities, stressing that Independent Anniversary is meant to reawaken the consciousness of Nigerians. And earlier in his presentation, Dr. Saidu Ahmad Dukawa of the Department of Political Science, Bayero University in Kano, stressed the need for leaders to concentrate on nation building in order to have a prosperous nation. And now moving forward, still in another development, a bill to empower rural dwellers skills, second reading in the Senate. The Senate yesterday passed a second reading, a bill seeking to empower poor Nigerians in rural areas with guaranteed income and jobs that will provide 100 days of paid work per year. And Senator Muhammad Sani Musa explained that the bill, amongst others, seeks to provide the livelihood security in rural communities by providing at least 100 days of guaranteed wage employment in every financial year to every household whose adult members volunteer to do work skills manually. And he said the bill, when passed into law, would empower rural poor through the processes of a right-based law. And he said it will ensure a strong social safety net for vulnerable groups and strengthen the natural resource based on rural livelihood and serve as a model of governance reform anchored on the principle of transparency and grassroots democracy. And citing the Poor Employment Act on the 1817 in Britain and the New Deal programs in the United States of America in the 1930s, Musa explained that the piece of legislation was similarly intended to be an invention that makes the government an employer for the last resort. And he noted that the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development will monitor the implementation of the scheme in association with state governments. The Senate President Ahmed Lawan referred the bill to Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development for further work after passing second reading. The committee, which is chaired by Senator Abdullahi Adamu, was given 4 weeks to report back to the Senate. And now news coming from around Africa. France visa cuts hits Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia. Algeria and Morocco have reacted with anger to France's decision to slash the number of visas for their citizens. France announced on Tuesday that it would halve the number of visas available to Moroccans and Algerians and reduce the third dose available to Tunisians. And it accused the three North African countries of failing to cooperate with the return of the nationals denied visas by France. And Algeria summoned the French ambassador to formally protest against the move, and Foreign Minister Amar Belani told the state's news agency APS that France's decision was disproportionate, while Morocco's Foreign Minister Nasser Bourita called the decision unjustified and said his country has always acted responsibly on the issues of illegal migration, and there was no immediate word from the Tunisian authorities. The French government's spokesman, Gabriel Attal, admitted on Tuesday that the decision to cut a visa was drastic and unprecedented. When visa requests are denied, France authorities must still secure a consular pass in order to forcibly expel individuals to their home countries. And the document was not being provided by Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, the government said. And French media reports that in the first 6 months of the year, just 22 Algerians were expelled from French territory, although 7,731 visa requests were rejected. And for Morocco, there were 80 expulsions despite the 3,301 failed visa requests. And for Tunisia, it was 131 expulsions to 3,424 failed visa applications. Immigration is set to be a key issue in the next year's French presidential elections. And now moving forward, still on news from around Africa, ex-South African minister implicated in COVID corruption. A former South African health minister has been implicated in a corruption scandal involving the awarding of a COVID-19 communications contract. A probe by the country's Special Investigating Unit found Dr. Zweli Mbize guilty for a distinct lack of oversight over the contract worth around $10 million. And money from the deal was used to buy Dr. Mbize's son's a car, and he was also given around $20,000. The National Department of Health paid the company Digital Vibes for COVID-19 communications work, but the contract was authorized outside the normal government regulations, according to the SIU report. The report found that the real directors of the Digital Vibes were too close to associates of Dr. Mbize, even though it was officially run by a woman who is in reality worked in a fuel station. She had denied being used as a front for the company, and it emerges a few months ago that some money from that contract was also used to pay for repairs at Dr. Mbize's private property. When questioned by the SIU investigators, he said he only became aware of the payment through media reports, claiming that an employee on his property had arranged for the repairs and subsequent payment by an associate. And the former health minister resigned in August amid the scandal, but denied any wrongdoing or prior knowledge that he and his family had somehow benefited from the contract. We're going to short break right now. When we come back, we get more updates from the foreign scene.
Glory be to God. The impact train is still moving around the world. Do you live in Enugu State? Do you live in Anambra State? Do you live in Imo State? Do you live in Ebonyi State? I'm coming to Abia. I'll be in Umuahia for Impact 2021. Are you believing God for a touch in your life? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? You have tried the rest. Why not try the best? Jesus makes the difference. I see your village. I'm hearing something like Uli.
Je vois ton village, j'entends non?
Uli. Yes, sir. I speak with a man. It's like your husband. His name is Aloma.
Son nom c'est Aloma.
Say they shall confess. They shall confess. I saw two people holding a book. And in that book that I'm seeing in the realm of the spirit, I saw an appointment that should favor you. But one of them is saying they should cancel it. Do you know Bata? Yes, sir. I know Bata. There's a man I'm seeing there, and that man has been looking for how to help you, but they keep blocking you. But God said to tell you, by the power of the Holy Ghost, you shall be helped. If you're in a wheelchair, rise up from the wheelchair. Raise your walking aid. Raise it.
Soulève ça.
Run.
Go.
Look at another one here.
Regarde, un marche.
Hey, come here.
Un marche.
Miracles.
Un miracle. Deux béquilles
In the name of Jesus.
Au nom de
So many
Jésus.
miracles. Let her walk. Let her walk.
Papa, this woman has been using this walking aid for 3 years. She said without this flame, she could not stand and she could not walk. As she released the healing power, she dropped the flame and started walking.
Give God a shout. I'm coming to Umuahia because of you.
Date 5th and 6th October 2021. Happening at the International Conference Center, Ogurube Layout beside CBN, Umuahia, Abia State, Nigeria. The time is 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. GMT +1. For inquiries, please call.
Welcome back, and now news coming from the foreign scene. All 39 trapped Canadian miners rescued after 3 days. And all 39 miners trapped deep underground in central Canada have been brought to the surface 3 days after an accident damaged the mine's lift. The workers at the Tonnen mine in Sunburg, Ontario climbed up to 4,000 feet using a series of ladders with the support of a rescue team. And the rescued miners were all in good health, according to the Vale and the company responsible for the mine. The final miners emerged just before 5 a.m. local time. Vale Chief Executive Officer Eduardo Bartolomeo thanked the rescue team for their efforts and said bringing the miners safely to the surface had been a top priority. And some 58 responders from both the Vale's Mines Rescue Team and the Ontario Miners Rescue, a training and safety program, helped with the extraction efforts, and the rescue operations took 2.5 days. The rescue in the Northern Ontario mine was a complex situation, said local United Steelworkers Union President Nick LaRochelli in a statement. And many of the rescue team members made 4 trips per shift, carrying heavy packs of supplies from the trapped miners. And rescue team members and miners alike were checked by medical staff, and they emerged and will be screened after over the next few days. And Vail, a Brazilian firm, said the company would investigate what happened in order to prevent similar future incidents. And more news unfolding. U.S. Taliban deal hastens Afghan collapse, defense officials say. Top U.S. defense officials have said the Taliban takeout of Afghanistan can be traced back to a deal between the group and the Trump administration. The Doha Agreement was signed in February 2020 and set a date for the U.S. to withdraw its troops. General Frank McKenzie said that the deal had really a pernicious effect on the Afghan government and military. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said agreed, saying that the agreement had helped the Taliban get stronger. In addition to settling a withdrawal date, the Doha Agreement included broad obligations on the Taliban to take steps to prevent groups such as the Al-Qaeda from threatening the security of the U.S. and its allies. And after his election, U.S. President Joe Biden continued the plan for withdrawal, but with an end date of 31st August instead of May. The U.S. defense officials made the comments on yesterday's in testimony to the House of Representatives amid service committees. And the hearing in taking place weeks after a chaotic withdrawal at the Kabul airport as foreign powers sought to get their citizens home and thousands of desperate Afghans begged for rescue. General McKenzie told the committee that the Doha Agreement had a strong psychological effect on the Afghan government because it set a date for when they could expect all assistance to end. And after the Doha Agreement, he said the troops reduction ordered by President Biden in April was the other nail in the coffin. And now moving forward to business news, Nigerians without the NIN won't get passports and driving license, says the NCC. The Nigerian Communications Commission said the October 31st deadline for linking their national identity numbers with the subscriber identity modules remain sacrosanct. It also said that Nigerians without NIN will soon be denied the opportunity of acquiring driving license and passports. And speaking during the live program, the Director of Public Affairs, the NCC, Dr. Ikechukwu Adinde, advised Nigerians to make use of the extension of the NIN SIM integration exercise to enroll with NIMC and get their NINs and link them to their SIMs. Adinde said soon people without the NIN will be denied of necessary services that play vital roles in their lives. Another benefit of the NIN SIM integration, Adinde said the exercise will significantly enhance national security as NIN is the primary identity for Nigerians, stressing that in the line with the federal government's commitment to ensure that Nigeria deploys technology to improve service delivery, the NIN SIM database will enhance citizens' access to government services. And also speaking on the show, NIN's Director of Consumer Affairs Bureau of the NCC, Efosa Idehen, said that those SIMs without unique identification could be used to commit crimes that remain untraceable. The Regional Director of the NIMC in Lagos, Fumi Opesanwo, who also spoke on the program, said that the submission of the NIN to a mobile network provider helped to provide a means of verifying an individual's identity and safeguarding both identity and mobile lines. And now moving forward, still on business news, the Senate passes a bill to scrap FEMA. The Senate yesterday passed the Federal Road Bill, which seeks to repeal the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency Act, Federal Highway Act, and the Control of Advertisement on Federal Highway Act. The proposed law is aimed at facilitating the establishment of an agency to govern and manage the nation's federal roads network. And when established, the agency is expected to facilitate private sector participation in the development and financing, maintenance, management, and improvement of roads in Nigeria. It will also regulate contracts for road concessions and other forms of public-private partnership, and as well as set guidelines for the work of the PPP contracts. The bill was sponsored by the Deputy Minority Leader of the House of Representatives, Toby Okechukwu, who is PDP from PDP in Enugu, and Osai Nicholas from PDP Delta. It was sponsored in the upper chamber by the Senate leader, Yahaya Abubakar from APC Kebbi State, for concurrence and passage in line with legislative traditions. We're going to another break right now. When we come back, we get more updates from the world of sports.
Revival. Awoken spirits.
Hello, God bless you. Habakkuk chapter 3 verse 2 says, revive thy work in the midst of the earth. In Psalm 85 verse 6, he said, will thou not revive thy people again, that thy people may rejoice? We are in the season of revival. Revival fire is sweeping across the nations of the world.
Go and change your family story. Go and change. Take it. Let a testimony come upon that brother. Sister, that is it. That's it. Favor.
And I'm coming this time to University of Benin. God has told me to go out to campuses, universities around the nations of the earth with the revival fire. Are you a student of Unilag, Uniport, Unijos, UNN, any campus where you attend your studies? Be my guest in University of Benin. 2 days of impact. Your life will never remain the same again. Do you know anyone in Germany? A young guy?
Yes, sir.
Who is he?
It's my fiance.
Eh?
My fiance.
The Lord said I should tell you, in 2 years, 7 months, the Lord would have made you international.
Amen.
And the Lord will make you and your sister the extended voice of the entire family.
Amen.
What about school?
Not going to school.
Why? What level did you stop?
First year.
Did you write end of school exam?
I wrote.
You
but
wrote?
I failed.
You failed. You are carrying the destiny of 3 people. I saw in the realm of the spirit, you were 3
Yes, sir.
when you were born.
Yes, sir.
1 died,
Yes, sir.
another died.
Yes, sir.
Remained only you.
Yes, sir.
All those of you who have GPs that are low, this semester, what God will do for you shall elevate your GPA.
7th and 8th October 2021 and 3 p.m. daily. Happening at the Indoor Sports Hall, Uniben, at Edo State, Nigeria. For inquiries, please call.
Tell everyone that Johnson Suleiman is coming to Uniben for a move of God's Spirit for Impact 2021. It's time for revival.
Welcome back now on sports news. Ronaldo scores in 95th minute as Manchester United beat Villarreal. Cristiano Ronaldo scored an injury time winner as Manchester United came from behind to beat Villarreal in action-packed Champions League Group F contest. The repeat of last season's Europa League final, which the Spanish side won on penalties, looked to be heading for a draw after another disappointing United performance, but summer signing Ronaldo struck home from Jesse Lingard's layoff to spark jubilant scenes at Old Trafford. And however, visiting manager Unai Emery will be left wondering how his side did not come away with all 3 points. United started brightly with Bruno Fernandes snooping over and Ronaldo also failing to hit the target with a header in the opening 7 minutes. Villarreal took charge thereafter, but could not score in the first half, in which they created chances after chances. United's goalkeeper, David De Gea, made vital reflex saves to deny Arnaud Danjuma and Paco Alcacer, and also twatted Yemeri Pino. But they did break a deadlock at the start of the second half as Danjuma got in behind and pulled the ball back to Alcacer to convert from the close range. United were finding it difficult to make inroads, but equalized through Alex Telles' moment of genius and smashed the first-time volley from 20 yards into the bottom corner. Ronaldo's winner means Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side has picked up from their first while in a group order tie. Atalanta beats Young Boys a 0-0 to go top of the table. In another sports news right now, Manny Pacquiao retires from boxing to focus on political career. Boxing legend Manny Pacquiao has announced his retirement for the sports to focus on his political career. The multi-division world champion, who is a senator in his native Philippines, has already announced his intentions to run for president in the country's 2022 elections. And the 42-year-old's final fight was a defeat by Cuban's Jordanis Ugas in Las Vegas last month. Pacquiao described retiring as the hardest decision of his life, adding that boxing had given him the chance to fight his way out of poverty and the courage to change more lives. He also thanked his fans, friends, and all those who supported him throughout his career, most notably longtime trainer Freddie Roach, who he described as his family, a brother, and a friend. He won his first major title in 1998 at the age of 19, defeating Thailand's Chachai Sasaikul from the WBC flyweight title. He is now regarded as one of the greatest professional boxers of all times, winning 12 different titles across 8 weight divisions, and is the only boxer to hold world championships across 4 decades. And he retires with a record of 62 wins, 8 defeats, and 2 draws. Pacquiao entered politics in 2010 when he won a seat in the lower house of the Philippine Congress before being elected for a 6-year term in the upper chamber in 2016. And he confirmed earlier this month his intention to run for president after he was nominated as a candidate by a faction of the ruling party, PDP Laban. And that's the size of the news for us today on Celebration Television News Desk. If you're just joining us, here is a recap of the news making the headlines. Reps seek funding for multi-billion naira library from public and private sector. France visa cut hits Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia. All 39 trapped Canadian miners rescued after 3 days. Nigerians without the NIN won't get passports and driving license, says the NCC. And on sports, Ronaldo scores in the 95th minute as Manchester United beat Villarreal. And today on our photo of the day, Today on our photo of the day, we see this picture of a man who is jumping from one height to the other. And you can see the word I and the letters I and M falling and making it possible because he's going into possibility. And all this, we say that all our dreams can come true if we just have the courage to pursue them. So you can also tell us your thoughts about the photo of the day today and on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it is Celebration TV. On Instagram, it is My Celebration TV. On Twitter, it's at My Celebration TV. And on YouTube, it's Celebration TV. Now, never you forget that the positive contribution, your positive contribution to the wellness of the society you find yourself in or the organization you work in defines your leadership might. As an individual who knows what to do and do without expecting to be pushed has backed his ways to success. And be it known today that everything we do, think, feel, and believe either have a positive or negative effect on humanity and our national well-being. So be a part of nation building today. Thanks for watching the news on Celebration Television News Desk. I'm Belly Squatter and wishing you a happy month of October.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.